Hey, what's up everybody? This video is gonna be pretty short and sweet. It's pretty simple. It's just gonna be 3 things that I learned making my first $1 million online. This is a award for earning $1 million online, and I figured it would be worthwhile for me to kind of break down what I've learned. The first thing, it's very simple. You have to be a realist. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is, if you ignore your numbers, or if you ignore the obvious, or if you create hypothetical situations in your head and you don't actually live in reality, then you won't be able to grow your business, because the business is a very numbers-driven thing. It's not very emotional, it's not very hypothetical, it's not theoretical, and it's not something that you just do for fun, even though it can be fun. Your business is about growing your profits, growing your revenue, serving more clients, making them happy, and sending more people to you. And so you have to stay and be a realist. And one of my favorite books on being a realist is this book right here called Principles by Ray Dalio. You should read it. It'll help you become more of a realist and understand how to maintain your state and actually not worry so much about all the little details and not get so in your own head, and then not be so emotional in your decision making, and actually just stay very fluid in your thinking, or very rational in your thinking. The next thing, this is another thing, it's this idea that I've kind of been working on myself, and it's the concept that there's no such thing as a self-made man. There's a lot of, sort of ego in the business world, and it's a lot of people trying to prove themselves. They've got something they're trying to compensate for, right? And a lot of people use business to sort of make up for something, or to try and be something that they know deep down that they're not, and they're trying to kind of make up for that. So you can't really make it in business if you have ulterior motives other than serving people and making profits, right? What you do with those profits is up to you, but you just have to be serving people, getting them results, and making money. That's it. That's all you should be in business for, because ultimately that's what you're gonna get paid for, and you might as well attach your passion to that, or attach your reason or your why to that, not proving yourself. And when you're trying to prove yourself, like this $1 million plaque right here, it's great, but it's not like I'm going, to a bunch of my old friends and be like, check this out, right? It's just, it is what it is. It's just data, right? And I can honestly say when I unboxed it, like when I was first getting started, something like this, or even like a nice watch or whatever, a nice apartment, I would have immediately kind of taken it as like a sign of validation, almost something that I can like leverage to feel better about myself. And you'll find that actually doesn't take you very far. Because then you'll find that secretly you're just optimizing your business for growing it as far as you need to in order to feel valid. And that's not very far often. That's just enough to live off of and to prove to yourself. And so instead of that motivation, you have to actually understand that there's no such thing as a self-made man. You have to get help from other people. Don't think you can do it yourself. Don't try to be in it for yourself, and actually focus on serving your clients and building reputation and being selfless and being a giver. And that will make it much, much easier to grow your business, because ultimately the secret to living is giving, and the secret to being a successful business owner, in my opinion, is giving, and then only taking back the little pieces that people are willing to give you, right? So this $1 million, honestly, I could say is, only at least 1/10 of the value that we put out into the marketplace, that the team has put out, that I've worked on over the past 2 years. And I can say, it's interesting, 80% of this money was made in the past, year, the past fiscal year. So things compounded pretty quick once we started really focusing on giving and serving other people. And that kind of brings me down to like the point within the sub point of what I just said is there's no such thing as a self-made man, right? You have to be willing to get help. So I've spent a lot of money on help, and I've taken advantage of any help I can get. A lot of people have this idea that like, oh, you can do it all yourself, or like, Trey, that's incredible what you've done. But the reality is I honestly haven't done anything. I've channeled what I've learned from other people. There's nothing original. There's not a single original thought in my head. It's all things that I've learned from other people, and that's how I've gone so fast, so far, so quick, if that makes sense. So everything I've done started with somebody else doing it, and then me kind of making it my own, and then maybe doing it my way, sure, but it still started with somebody else, right? So like, a lot of my original mentors, people I've bought programs from and courses and all these books I've read, and if anything, this bookshelf alone is worth, a couple $1 million to me. And then you've got, all the courses I've gone through, all the coaches I've worked with, all the masterminds I've gone into. So you gotta understand, like, at the end of the day, there's no such thing as a self-made man. And if you're trying to prove something to yourself, then it's actually gonna be harder for you to be willing to step down, let go of your ego, and then just like get help. Because you'll honestly go so much faster Like, it's absurd. Once I let go of trying to prove something to myself or other people or whatever, and I just was like, all right, I'm just gonna make a lot of money. Like, it moved so much quicker. So yeah, that's the second point. The third point is there's no such thing as work-life balance. Work-life balance doesn't exist. Work-life integration is the real secret. It's figuring out ways to allow what you do in your work to supplement your life, and allowing your life and your personal and the things that you do on your downtime to supplement your work. So in your life, you really get paid for what you do when you work, right? You know what I mean? So you can provide for your friends and your family, and you can do things with your family and friends and your loved ones. You can go on travel vacations, you can spend quality time with them, whatever. You get paid there for what you do when you're working, and you get paid in your work for what you do in your off time. So both kind of feed into the other, and you have to start seeing them that way. It's not about, you know, oh, I'm taking time off, and then you just don't work, and then when you're working, you're looking forward to taking time off, and you're trying to balance taking time off and working. That's not good. You have to understand, you got to integrate these two worlds and let them actually feed each other and help each other grow. Otherwise, what you're doing, and you don't even realize it, is you're creating an unnecessary bottleneck in both arenas. So both in your life and in your work, you're creating like this like bottleneck that keeps it from being valuable through and through. And I've done this, and I'm still recovering from that mindset of like, you know, and I'm getting to a much better place now, because I used to literally think, oh, I can only see family this much, or I can only see my girlfriend this much. And it's not about that. It's like not about a certain amount of time. It's really about mental energy and focus, as well as harmony in all the aspects and areas of your life. So it's not don't see your family, it's figure out how to make family time a valuable way to grow everything. You know, how can the family help in the business? Are there any ideas that they have? You know, how can your romantic relationships play a role in the business, or how can your business help your romantic relationships? You know, what ways are there connections and ties? And you have to kind of stop boxing things in your head. So I've got work, and I've got life, and then I've got gym, and then I've got sleep, and then I've got and it's like you can't box things. If you box things for too long, you're gonna find that you're gonna be extremely lonely in every single area. And not only that, but you're not gonna be able to like learn from each area and apply lessons to all areas, which will slow down your learning, which will slow down your growth and slow down the progress towards your goals. So these are 3 lessons that I've learned having made, you know, my first $1 million at 21 years old. And I just hope this is a valuable lesson for you, or a valuable video for you. I think I've made videos like this before, but they're very, you know, they're very clickbaity, they get a lot of views, and I figured I'd just put out like a good little message here for you. People like when I put the $1 million thing in the title, and I'm like, you know what, let me just kind of abuse that video title, because it seems to do well. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.